you made the world's first feature AI movie, and I watched it last night, and I was very impressed. I was very impressed because it was okay. I got to tell you what I've been doing a little bit from a review standpoint. I review movies. I'm not a very good reviewer, I don't think. I think I am. I mean, maybe I am. I don't know. But the thing is, I've been reviewing quote unquote bad cinema, right? And I've discovered something. I don't think it's like The Room by Tommy Wiseau. Everybody laughs at that movie. That's a movie made with perfect sincerity. Tommy Wiseau meant to make something beautiful, and people laughed at him for it. And I found that horribly unfair because he poured his heart into a film that he thought was going to be great. He didn't know how to make a movie, really. He had a little bit of hubris, a little bit of ego. But I love the fact that he went out there and he made something. He made one more movie than anybody who complained about the movie. So, you know, another
You'll appreciate this. Well, that in particular. So I'm driving, when I lived in Hollywood, I was driving down the street and there was a parking space coming up that I was going to pull into. And this big Lincoln Town car from like the early 80s, maybe late 70s, pulls in front of me and is driving at like 2 miles an hour and takes the space because I can't, there's not enough time. I'm just waiting for him to continue, right? And I pass by and it's him getting out of the car. Tommy.
If I ever met him, I would tell him, you know, thank you. Your work transformed me in the way that quote unquote good movies have never transformed me. It was a revelation. You can make whatever you want. You don't have to please anybody. You just do stuff, you know?
Well, yes. And, you know, on that regard, I'll get you a copy of my book called Accessing Creativity, which
I have it on Audible.
Okay, great. Have you listened to it?
I've listened to like the first quarter because I listen to it when I drive around. And I loved it.
Have you gotten to the part about judgment yet? Well, I'll tell you, it's in there because it's essentially judgment is a construct. It doesn't exist. So there is no such thing as good or bad or right or wrong. There only is truly what is.
Right.
So when I learned that and I started then looking at art, whether it's a movie or a painting or a song or whatever, I say, well, my preference exists. I may not prefer to listen to this kind of music or watch this kind of movie, but it doesn't make the movie bad. No. It just makes it not my preference. So when I think of a movie like The Room or these sort of, you know, all the movies that people pan or laugh at or make fun of, I say, well, they're not bad. They are as they are. And if you look at it that way, then you're like, this is extraordinary because it's so bizarre and so out there that itself becomes fascinating.
Well, the thing is, you want in any movie, right? Any film, any work of art of any kind, what you want is sincerity and honesty. Mm-hmm. If someone comes out there and makes a movie and it's totally cynical, I don't want to say Hollywood movies.
Sure.
But let's just say Hollywood movies. It's made totally with cynicism. They don't care. You can tell. Even dumb audience members can tell. That's why these movies are going down in people's estimates. You can only make a cynical cash grab so many times. After a while, people do react, I think, to sincerity and honesty. They do. Mm-hmm. Up to a point. In 2024, I went to see Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola movie. Have you seen it?
Not yet.
You should see it.
I can't wait.
That's a movie made with he literally ripped out his own heart, put it on. He'd spent over $100 million making that movie.
Jesus.
Easily. Almost his entire fortune. Well, he figures he's over 80. His kids don't need any money. Mm-hmm. So he just said, you know what, I'm going to go out with a bang. And he did. And what a movie. Aubrey Plaza is in it.
Hmm.
and Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is such a great actor. Like he's an
Hmm.
amazing actor in this. Like he was my favorite part of the movie. You
All
can
right,
tell
great.
he was a huge pain in the ass, but he made such a he was so great. Aubrey Plaza was great. I mean, I loved that movie. It was art, like pure art. God, it's so refreshing to watch. Um,
Cool.
yeah. When we walked out of the movie, there were people laughing at it, and I literally this is a big theater in Montreal, and I literally walked up to them and called them a bunch of uncultured swine before walking
Oh.
away without another word. Fuck them. But yeah,
Okay, going back to,
right.
well, first, you were right when I started recording, you were talking about using the microphone on your phone being just as good as, any other expensive kind of microphone. And
Often,
it's weird because lately, like if let's say I'm recording like a big wide shot of like some street musician, I'm getting the whole scope of the sounds on the street. But if I zoom in with my camera phone to the musician, it somehow isolates that sound and doesn't get any of the other sound. It's like it's blocking out background noise without me having to edit it. And I don't know if that's AI internally in the phone or if it's whatever it is, it's some software programming for sure.
yeah. But that's what I see. This is why I approve of AI. I like the argument is AI can't make art, and they're right. AI can't do anything. It's not
Right.
real. It doesn't exist.
Right.
It's like asking Google to know things. No, it doesn't. It looks for things. It doesn't know anything.
Right. Or it's like asking a spoon to make dinner.
Yeah, exactly. It's like asking a hammer to build you a house. It won't. It can't do anything. You have to be there.
Right.
Um, and we'll get into this later, but I honestly do think that the fear that people have of AI that it'll be used by idiots to make movies and stuff like that is not going to happen because idiots don't have the patience
No.
to go through all the shit you have to go through, even with AI to make a movie. Same thing with a book. I was thinking about writing, like, if you write a book with AI, I would never do that. I'm very analog when it comes to writing. I like the sound of my own voice and my own words. Um, you know, you can use it for a few things when it comes to writing, like, for example, just correcting verb tense, stuff like that, but
Sure.
nothing big. But anyway, the thing is, if you do use AI to write a book, it's never going to write 300 pages of coherent stuff. It'll be coherent
No.
for the first 30 pages, and after that, it'll start devolving. So the person who does that is going to have to go through that book, read the entire book, and then correct stuff manually like an editor. These
Right.
idiots don't have the patience to do that. So if you want to write a
No.
real book, you can do scams with AI for sure, but you can never write anything with AI.
No. And even if, like, for instance, the book, well, accessing creativity, I wrote, of course, but I had AI be my editor, like proofreader.
Right,
But
but
I
that's
still
fine.
don't trust that it's accurate. So
No, it isn't.
even though it did the proofreading and whatever, I still went through constantly and double checked because I didn't trust that there wouldn't still be something wrong.
Well, I've run some of my writing, which can be very poetic, pretentious. Let's use the word pretentious. It can be
Okay.
pretentious. I'm trying for James Joyce and William Faulkner. I'm pretty sure I'm not achieving it, but I'm running it through AI and it's making suggestions. Oh, maybe you should write like this. And every suggestion AI has done has been kind of terrible. It makes the
Hmm.
writing more bland
Yeah.
and it takes the poetry out of it.
Yeah.
It's like sort of like how computer color correction in movies has made movies look like shit.
Hmm.
It just no, don't do that. So to me, right, to me, it would take less time writing a book, like just manually, than using
Yes.
AI because you don't have to go through it to find all the errors. It's just easier to do it yourself.
Yeah. And, quite honestly, with some exception, but I don't know exactly what, I was really surprised during the making of BrainStare that the time it took to
Yeah,
generate an image was damn near the same amount of time it takes to film a live action one.
yeah,
And, people think you show up on a movie set and it's always perfect. No, the actors mess up and they don't do the line right. And you have to do take after take after take to get it to be the take that you want. And same thing with AI, like it didn't always do what I wanted to do. And then you have to like sit there and the other sort of frustrating part is it doesn't speak the same language,
No.
and,
Like,
if I could tell a human being, make her a little less angry. Well, that doesn't compute to an AI.
no.
So I have to say, well, completely some opposite word. The word choice in the prompt and the direction sometimes made no sense in order to get anger or to get
Yeah.
something. It was really fascinating.
You have to almost be a psychologist to play
That's
with it.
exactly right.
You know,
Or set it up with like for instance, swear words and all the curse profanity in Suglia's writing. I was really concerned because one of the one of my main objectives was every single word of the
right,
script had to appear in the film.
right.
I didn't want to edit anything out. I wanted it to be which maybe is a first for a screenwriter. I didn't want anything left on the cutting room floor. And because there was no time restraint and no worry about a project like this, we just went forward with that. And the other trouble was I had decided very early on that I wanted all the elements of it. The set design, the people, the costumes, the music, the sound design, all to be generated using AI.
Right.
And, in the cases where profanity was there or some really explicit stuff that I had to trick either by the spelling of the word or to set up a sentence at the beginning of the shot that I knew I would cut out in order to get the sentence that had the profane word in it, in order, like you could have just used a human voiceover,
Yeah.
or I could have swapped in the word, but I didn't want to do that. And so then it became more difficult.
Right. I actually think that if AI is used on a bigger scale, that people will just ADR stuff afterwards. They'll just do voiceover and just
It'd be
after the fact.
easier. It'd be
And
easier to have a human do it.
and yeah, well, that's the thing because and also probably AI by then will be like improved to the point where you'll be able to you'll as you speak the character won't move differently but their lips will start to match the words that you're saying. You'll be able to like generate just the lip movements so that it'll fit.
Right.
I think that would be anyway if I was programming AI for movie making, that would be one of the things I would make.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way that it's going to be easier to get AI to say things than to simply grab a bunch of people or just do different voices and
Right.
just do them afterwards, because otherwise it's going to be just hell, because you'll
Right.
you'll ruin shots like just because you can't get the voices out, the dialogue out.
Yes. And at the time, all of BrainStare was made, it was before whatever it's called now, Seed Dream, or is that what it's called? There's a few
Yeah,
platforms now
yeah,
that
yeah. Well, the
look.
technology's improved like just
Yes.
between the short amount of time that you did, it's just massively.
And
um
I've also since found, I don't remember what it's called, but there are non-censored, like you could make porn with it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But
And
that's going to be for sure from China or Russia, but it'll be some
totally.
weird thing. But it's yeah,
And at the time, those sort of censored or uncensored things weren't available. So I was left with what was, there at the time. Um, but even that just, I mean, it was. Do you remember my movie Watch Out?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so you're a little. I mean, it's been God, how long has it been? Almost 20
an
years.
age.
Yeah. Um, Dr. Suglia's writing is really specific to him. And,
Right.
I've never had the experience of reading, let alone listening to someone who writes in the style that he writes.
Okay.
Um, and when I first got this script, he had published it in book form, and it looked like a play. You know, it was like it was written as a play would be written, not like a screenplay. So there
Right.
was, you know, at the beginning of the act one, there was a description of the setting and the people and their description, but that's it. The rest of the entire act was just their name and dialogue, like a play would be. And I thought, oh, this is interesting because you're letting the director of the play, whoever's going to put on the stage play, interpret it however they want, you know, based on who's making the material. And so I thought that was really cool. And I said, you know, this would be an interesting project at some point. And while I'm reading it, I don't know why I'm reading it, but I can't stop reading it. You know, like
Right.
and and I feel that way actually watching it. And while I was making it, I'm just like, I can't believe this is, you know, almost 2.5 hours long, and I've watched it 100 times, and I sometimes can't stop watching it. You know, like it's just there's some kind of a weird. And I've studied hypnosis, and I can't put my finger on it exactly what it's doing, like the language and the rhythm that makes it so it's so back and forth and so rhythmic that at least I can't stop. Sometimes I want to stop. I don't want to watch it. I'm tired of watching it, but sometimes I just can't stop watching it. Did you have any kind of sensation like this while you were
Well,
going through?
well, just from a brain stare, and from my memories of Watch Out, Sulia likes to write dialogue like it's combat. Like
Mm.
two people are fighting, but they're using their words, and they're not necessarily angry, but they're having a back and forth. There's conflict there, and there's all sorts of emotions there, and everything is somewhat loaded what they're saying. So there's that sensation there. It's the dialogue is incredibly important.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why I got. That's what I remember from Watch Out, and that's what I remember. That's what I got from Brain Stare. Yeah. Um,
All right.
that's all I remember really. I haven't seen Watch Out.
Well, no, I haven't either. It's just so, I mean, I remember when I was doing that. Well, this is the other strange thing that I really loved. So, Watch Out came to me at the precise moment in history when the world was moving from celluloid into digital.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, well, this is a good opportunity for me to experiment to see if I can make a movie using HD that would be as cinematic as celluloid. So I used Watch Out as the experiment. And so it's just really funny. Ironic is not quite the right word. The synchronicity of him approaching me and sending this to me at the moment between moving into AI as a tool was just a real, it didn't escape me as interesting, the
Yeah.
comparison.
Well, the thing about your movies is that they're incredibly visual films. Um, every single one of like when I describe a really, really great writer like Cormac McCarthy, I always say things like, their prose is as thick as poetry. It feels like poetry, but it's prose. And all of your movies feel like they're paintings that move. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's the visuals are just there to carry you through. You've never made an ugly movie. Not a single one, whether I like it or not, whether I enjoy myself or not. I never thought any single one of your movies looked bad, or they are some of the most beautiful movies made. Brain Stare is gorgeous looking. It feels almost like when Richard Linklater did Waking Life, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one, Scanner Darkly. It feels like that. It feels like that Ralph Bakshi rotoscope stuff, where it's just this gorgeous kind of color, and everything is popping out, and it doesn't feel muted or dull or bland or beige or
Mm-hmm.
gray like so many movies that you watch today, where it's just like it's tiring to the eye. Even if the story's interesting, it's so ugly you can't look at it.
Well, and on that regard, did you see the movie After the Hunt with Julia Roberts this past year? It
you
was
know.
Luca, what's his name, who did the Daniel Craig, what's his name?
Did he also do Suspiria?
Luca
Yeah.
Guadagnino.
Yeah,
No,
he
no,
did
no.
Suspiria. He did the Suspiria remake. I remember that.
Okay, you got to watch After the Hunt because first of all, she's incredible in it. Julia Roberts is mind-blowingly good in it, and the fact that she was not nominated for an Oscar surprises me. But the whole movie is so fucking dark. Like
Okay.
you can't see their eyes, like ever. Like
Uh,
it's but it's on purpose. It's not like they just didn't light it. It's like lit
right.
this way on purpose. But I'm there. They do some things. He does some things in this movie. They're all on purpose. I know they're on purpose because he's a good filmmaker. But I'm sometimes struck with the choices, and I'm so into it because it's so strange. The choices.
Okay.
Um, and I'm in the middle of it. I haven't finished it yet, but like I'm waiting for that moment when the lights turn on, or like something. I mean, I would do that. I would have like, you get all these really dark and shady things, and then you turn the viewer's eyes there. It's like being in a dark room, and then suddenly it changes, and you're just like, it's a shocking thing.
Right.
Um, a little bit like I think John Cassavetes directed it with Robin Wright. How was it? She's So Lovely with Sean Penn.
Uh,
Well, whatever. The first part of the movie
right.
was really dark and gritty and like,
Right.
and then the second half was like brightly lit, like you're in, a soap opera in Burbank in 1980, and it's like drastically different from the first half of the movie, and I like things like this.
Yeah. Well, I tend to like movies that literally pop out. It has to be a visual experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, what's the point? It's a movie. Otherwise,
Right,
you're not listening to a radio play.
right.
Obviously, sound is important. George Lucas famously said sound is 80% of a movie, and he's right up to a point, but the movie has to look good too. And I think so many modern films are too dark, and sometimes they correct it later. Like there was a movie called The Green Knight that came out a little while back with, I think, Dev Patel. It was an adaptation of the Arthurian King Arthur legend,
Uh-huh.
and it's a great sequel to Excalibur. Technically speaking, it really feels like the same kind of sexual, brutal, violent kind of thing, and it feels very retro. It doesn't feel like a modern film at all. It's not sensitive at all. Um, and apparently, when it came out to theaters and in early versions of home video, it was dark as shit, and nobody could see anything. And
Uh-huh.
my copy that I have on Blu-ray, you can see perfectly well. I'm usually really, really difficult when it comes to that stuff, and I thought it looked good, so they must have fixed it. But a lot of movies are like that. I think they're trying to do a naturalistic lighting thing.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of cinematographers and lighting people and producers are like, like, well, we want to have light like if the scene was real. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the fuck is it? Why? It's like people questioning where the music comes from in the movies. Like, no, you don't have to. The light comes from the same place as the music. You don't have to worry
Right.
about it. Um, I don't know. Like, but there's a thing I've seen this in movies, and it's really turned me off modern film. Like, I haven't watched almost any movie. I've seen one movie in theaters in the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go see movies. I don't enjoy movies very much anymore, like modern films. I don't
Yeah.
know. Uh,
It's interesting. Uh, well, with BrainStare, I deliberately wanted sort of that hyper surreal, and I think I mentioned not dissimilar to how I did Firecracker, in the sense
right.
that I wanted it to be almost aggressive, the colors.
Yeah, well,
Um,
firecrackers to this day, I think it's if you were known only for Firecracker and
mhm,
Alchemy of the Spirit,
mhm.
I think you'd still be considered a genius. Like just absolutely, it would be almost a perfect filmography. Like people go, oh my god, what? To me, those are the two. your two greatest, my two favorite of your films,
Thank
and the
you.
movies that I would suggest to anybody. You know, Firecracker, like if someone said to me, like, you know, oh, I like David Lynch and I like Blue Velvet, I'm like, watch Firecracker.
Mhm.
You're going to get that same sort of feel about it. It's going to touch you in the same ways. It's going to transform you in the same ways. It's a beautiful goddamn movie. Really, really loved it. You told me that you were supposed to put Dennis Hopper in the role
Mhm.
of, but he didn't do it for whatever
Well, he
reason.
died.
Oh well, damn him.
I
How
know.
inconsiderate of him.
There were some really key moments. Do you remember when the Concorde crashed in France?
Mm-hmm.
It was like the last one, and then they pulled them from flights. I was sitting in his living room with my father in Santa Monica, in Venice, California,
Mm-hmm.
and the Concorde had just crashed, and his friend came running in and turned on the TV. We sat there and watched the news report of whatever. So it was that day. I was at his house, and then it was really interesting because when he was attached, we couldn't find the funding. Like
Okay.
no, like you know how they always used to say, put movie stars in your movie, and that's how you get funding with
Yeah.
name talent. Well, no, doesn't work. So I at that time we had like a whole laundry list of people like James Russo, Debbie Harry, Karen Black, Sally Kirkland, Dennis Hopper. Shit, I can't remember who else. And we couldn't. It was like years passed, and we couldn't get it made until part of it was I wasn't doing it the way it was meant to at that time. Like
Okay.
it was then when I decided, okay, I'm going to have whoever plays the carnival singer also play the mother, and whoever plays the brother also play this. Shoot half of it
Right.
in black and white and half of it in color. None of that was the plan. That was my initial plan. But then once all these movie stars started wanting to be in it, I changed it and I made it more narrative, like normal
Right.
structure. Um, and then that wasn't working because it wasn't meant to be work that way. It
Right.
was meant to be the way that I had initially thought of it and conceived it, in using the black and white and color and all that. So the decision then to make all the color parts really color, like not just muted. I mean, like the cinematographer when he first showed me some of the clips, I was like, oh no, this looks like a regular movie, like in color, you know.
Right.
And I don't want it to look real. I want it to look like it's almost painted, you know.
Right.
Um, and which is interesting because with BrainStare, then I mean, it is painting, it is animation, even though
Right.
they sometimes look like they have human characteristics. And I mean, now they do. I've some of the tools. I did the last Emerald short film where it looks like a human being, and when my father, like not animated, and my father was showing somebody, and they're like, God, with all that AI in the background and all the locations, they really boosted the production value. But where are those actors from? And my dad's like, they're AI.
Right.
And but whoever he was showing it to didn't believe it. They thought I had filmed the person and then replaced the background with all the AI.
Right.
Anyway, I wanted it to be really saturated and vivid and sort of not
But
real.
that's what I liked about Brains. Like I said, BrainStare is beautiful to look at. You can do screen caps of different scenes, and it would be, you could post it on your wall. Um, this does kind of remind me of something that a lot of people will. When I say a lot of people, I mean people on Twitter or Facebook, social media. The
Mm-hmm.
people you hear complain about AI. The thing that happened, I should preface this by saying that in 2024, about 2 years ago, I was against AI. And I
Uh-huh.
actually wrote down something and I thought I could show it to you. Give me a second here. I wrote it down because I took notes. I have plenty of notes. Um, and I have it. There it is. On June 3rd, 2024, I posted this on Facebook, right? Yeah, you don't mind if I read this?
But no, please.
Okay. As art itself stands before the digital gallows of artificial intelligence, a great shadow falls across the land. And in this shadow gallops the four horsemen of the cinematic apocalypse, and their names are vanity, cynicism, greed, and insincerity. They poison all their touch, and their poison tastes like the sweetest of nectars to the doomed and the damned. All that is good withers before their terrible roars of their hooves, and those who would profit from them will open their wallets to find that all their gold is turned to blood. I wrote that for a review, for a film review. I took it out because it sounded like madness.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, but that's what I thought of AI in 2024. So I wasn't exactly a fan.
Hmm.
I have softened on it quite a bit. I do think it will be horribly misused by a lot of people, but there's nothing we can do about that. It's Pandora's box already been opened. What can you do? I'm not a politician.
Well,
I'm not a lawmaker. I can't, you know.
they misuse it already. I mean, that not AI, they misuse
Oh
everything
God, they
non-AI
misuse
also.
everything,
Right.
everything. Social media. In fact, most of the complaints you're hearing from politicians isn't about that AI is bad. It's that they don't control it.
Right.
That's really the thing. So this is all like this is above us. This has nothing to do with me. You know,
No, and
you're
well,
you're
and
a filmmaker, and I'm just you know.
well, the thing it does for me now, one, I when I was a kid, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, and I had Star Wars action figures, and I would play movies. I wouldn't play Star Wars. I wouldn't reenact
No,
the scenes from Star Wars, but I would use them, these little characters, as a character. So, like,
right,
um, even though Princess Leia in her red outfit from Part Three, you know, her name today in the play that I'm making might be Alex or Carrie or Jennifer, you whatever. And then I would construct these sort of scenes, you know, in my mind of what they were doing, and I would see it visually, even though I'm sitting there, you know, holding the characters. But they would talk to each other, and they'd have all these, you know, whatever. And when I was fiddling around, I didn't even know if BrainStare was going to be possible because at the time it was really, really difficult until I realized you had to do it like animation and do keyframes and stuff. It was impossible to keep them looking the same, and you know, from shot to shot. And then I
right,
was like,
yeah,
oh, well, I have to model them, so I need a picture of their face this way, and a profile and behind, like, and then that's what I have to use to construct the 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 frame, the start frame, and the end frame, and then the generated between the middle, you know, may or may not work. But at the time, I was thinking, God, it's meant for me to be alive in this moment because constructing without, and when I say without restraint, I think that is possible now, but during BrainStare, it was still really tricky to try to get some of those shots generated,
you're
um,
right.
and or have some of those words. And uh, I thought, wow, there's no limit. Like, I think at one point you said, I don't remember what review it was that you wrote. I think it was you that said
Okay,
something about, you know, what could I possibly achieve if given a real budget?
right, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know, something like that. And now I can,
Well, yeah. Well,
right?
the thing is, the complaint I hear is that art. It's not art. It's not art. You're not doing art because you didn't do everything that's on screen. First of all, there's a bunch of things about this that are incorrect. You can tell that the people complaining have never even touched AI. They just hate it without knowing anything about it.
Right.
I used to hate it without knowing anything about it. Then I started playing with it because I am interested in technology. I'm an old school person. I like old
Mm-hmm.
things more than new things, but that doesn't mean I'm not curious about new things. So I
Sure.
started playing around with it just to see what I hated.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And I came to the conclusion that art comes in two forms, if you really think about it: capturing and creating. Creating art would be like a painter painting,
Mm-hmm.
capturing is photography.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no photographer has ever, well, some of them set up scenes, but I mean, for the most part, they don't create anything, they just capture the moment. Well, AI movies would be capturing the moment. You have the computer doing something for you, and it just happens to kind of do the thing accidentally or not, and you capture it and you keep it and you show it to somebody else, and that's technically art. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like a little kid finding a pretty rock and showing it to somebody. That's art. That, well, not exactly, but You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, and I think that's why I disagree with the idea that AI can't do art. An artist can use AI to make art. An
Right.
idiot will never make art with AI because they're idiots. They can't do it, you know?
Right. It's the brush. I mean, if you can hand everybody in the room a brush and give them a canvas, and the only difference between what ends up on the canvas is the person holding the brush
Mm.
and what they know, their technique, their skill, their what they've learned, their or even what they've not learned, what they've just experienced in their life, or what their imagination is. Um, AI, I think, can help those people who aren't very talented, create something that's interesting to see, perhaps, but it can't sustain. Maybe they can make a short film or they can make something, brief, but it can't sustain interest without the other stuff. Um, and really, if I mean, I keep saying it's exactly like making an animated movie. There's no difference between creating an AI feature like BrainStare and making a Disney movie, except, maybe less people, but you still have to have people. You still have to
Yeah.
have the storyboards, and even if it's
Well,
made by one person, I can do all the storyboards and keyframes and costumes and all those things. But if I don't have the know how to do that, I'm going to need a costume person or a sound designer. I'm going
yeah.
to have those people.
Well, I honestly think that AI, if used properly, not just again, there's the idea in a lot of people that AI is just pressing a button and it makes a
Mm-hmm.
movie. No, that's not how it works at all.
Right. They can try.
AI.
I challenge them to try to make one because it's
Oh,
impossible.
well, that's what I did. I posted some videos up on YouTube that I made because I was trying to do art with
Uh-huh.
AI. I'm doing quotation marks, by the way. I was trying to do art and or at least something artistic, somewhat artistic. So I made the characters. I designed. Well, one of the characters looks like me, and it's got the
Mm-hmm.
big David Lynch eraser head hair. All of the women in the videos I made are me. I just
Uh-huh.
had my face feminized, and then I put it on somebody else's hair, so I built girls that look like me. So everybody in those videos is me, and
Uh-huh.
there's aliens because I like aliens. I have a whole library full of stuff about aliens, communion, and stuff like that. And so a lot of those stories revolve around that. They're 30 seconds long because that's about as long as you can get on Grok. Imagine the AI from X. And I've been playing around with it. And like I said, I mean, it's all about capturing the moment and trying to figure out how to do it, but it's not automatic. It doesn't do it for
Right.
you really. And it hallucinates constantly. You will tell it to do something that you think in your mind is really specific, and it will just come up with garbage. It won't work. It won't look
I
good.
need totally. I need to find and dig out and make a blooper reel for BrainStare
Oh, yeah.
because there are some times it it I well for I mean there's so many things I can't remember any of them except one of them stands out, which is every now and again the character would say I just can't do this anymore, like they were like breaking down as a human would on set if they were
Yeah.
like tired or cranky. I'm like, say the line, and there's the dialogue, right? It doesn't say any of it, and it just goes on and on about how they can't take it anymore, and it's like
Well,
it was just so funny because when it would do that, I'm like, oh my god, you are like some of those actors I've worked with who are just such a pain in the ass, and the computer's doing it. It's like the frustration of directing a movie doesn't go away by using
well,
AI.
well, directing is capturing the moment as well, which is why
Right,
directing feels so artistic, even though technically you're asking a computer to generate stuff but you're trying to get the scene that you need to
right,
put in a movie.
right.
And that can take a hell of a long time because it will not, like, here's a thing that a lot of people who complain about AI don't know. AI is really, really bad at doing back and forth dialogue.
Yeah,
Like one character will speak, another character speaks. This is really simple. Man says something, woman responds. It doesn't fucking work.
right.
The guy will say something, and the woman will start with his dialogue, and then they'll get confused, and then they'll start telling each other's dialogue. And you also have to almost make sure that it's a man and a woman, just so the
Yes.
AI will at least be able to differentiate them. Because if it was two guys talking, it would get confused with the two guys. You would literally have to say man with glasses or man
Right.
with really specific about who's speaking. And the thing is, though, you can use programming language, I think, to fix that, which takes us back to CGI because
That's right.
everybody complaining about AI doesn't seem to realize, CGI ain't no more real than that.
Exactly.
And it involves a lot of generation as well. What do you think that every frame is painted by a CGI artist? Of course not.
Right.
They use a form of AI similar to AI to generate the scene.
Right.
Video games are the same way. Uh, to me, there's no way. First of all, there's no way that they're going to get rid of all the CGI people because they'll just shift them to AI.
That's right. I mean, it becomes a different job title, but it's almost the same exact duty they were doing before.
They won't be doing much different. Another thing too is so many people complain about Hollywood movies costing so much. They're like, "Oh, it's $300 million to do a blockbuster, blah blah blah," oh, yeah. And they will go on about how big stars like Tom Cruise take a lot of that budget. Like their salaries for acting, their salaries for producing. But the thing that people don't realize is even if you paid everyone's scale for that
Hmm.
movie, it would still be $200 million
Right.
because there's so many people. It's a whole city working on that movie.
Right.
If you want to lower budgets, you have to have less people working on it. The money doesn't go to the movie; it goes to the people working on the movie.
That's right. Well, I mean,
You,
I've known that for years. That's why it's like I like to keep my film shoots with 10 people or less because it's
oh,
just you add one person, not only do they take up space, but you still have to feed them, even if they're working for free. And that, lunch and whatever, it adds up. Um, yeah, it's bananas. I am really curious. Now, I think this will get there along the talk about CGI also to incorporate it into. So I've been really obsessed lately with like spies and assassins
right,
and the idea of when I originally set out to make El Gonzo, one of my earlier conceptions was that this woman with amnesia who falls in love with this man learns halfway through when she remembers who she is that she was hired to kill him. And I
right,
thought, God, how great is that to like have a character? What would
yeah,
she do? Like
right.
she's just fallen in love with him and now she remembers she has to kill him. What would happen? Well, I'm maybe we'll do one of these movies. But what I was thinking is, you know, and I was talking to my cinematographer about this. It's like, how could we use, so you're going to shoot the inside of the room with these two real people. But when the one jumps off the balcony and gets into the helicopter and the thing's exploding and all of that can be AI, just like CGI, but cost a fraction of,
Yeah,
well, cost nothing,
yeah.
compared. I mean, it costs some money. It's like when I added up all the different platforms and the membership fees and the subscription fees for
And your
everything that I
time.
use and my time. Well, the time is the exact same as making a real movie.
Yeah.
I think production, which I would call like the generation of shots, was about 6 weeks, which is what a film of mine would take. Um, but there's still thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't remember how much was spent. Probably close to 10,000, maybe $25,000 on if you add up all the bullshit and I'm still like also learning when I'm making BrainStare. So I'm subscribing and becoming a member to some of these, places because it's like I think I told you like, VEO, Kling, there were a couple of other different ones. All do some things well and other things not so well. But the other one does the thing that this one doesn't do so well, but it does well. So it's like
Yeah,
you have to hop around just to test how does it all fit together.
yeah.
Or if it
That's just the
does.
way it is. Yeah,
Right.
that's just the way it is. Every program has its own expertise. I know sound guys who have to use 9 different programs to get to transfer one thing to another format so they can use the other program, and it's just insane. It's actually a waste of time, but that's the way it is. There's
Totally. I
never
mean,
one program dedicated to doing something well. Um, one thing I think is going to change in filmmaking is the concept of storyboarding.
uh-huh.
I think will be done with AI from now on. If I was going to give advice to filmmakers, younger filmmakers is just storyboard your movie using AI. Hell, make a demo reel, make an
Right.
entire work print using AI. Then you can show
Well,
it to an investor, and maybe they'll,
yeah, I remember when I was putting money together for Firecracker and other movies too, we would make like a fake trailer, right, to the movie to
right,
show the investors. And
right,
it would, it would have been shot on like high eight or whatever it was at the time, mini DV. Now you can use your phones, but you can use AI. Like I have this script that has not yet been produced that was intended to be a series, although it could also be a movie, on Elizabeth Bathory. Do you know who
oh,
that
okay,
is?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. And so that is something. Now I could probably just do it in AI, but I could definitely use AI to have that pitch deck fake trailer for the show, to then go get the cash to then make the thing.
right,
Because something like that's expensive, when you have costumes and period drama and,
yeah,
naked women killing each
castles
other and
and
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, and castles and all that. Um, I also really want to do, I don't know if I could do it with AI because it's all the censorship things. I want to do a
Oh yeah,
Rog.
yeah, yeah. I know Elizabeth Bathory. I mean, like she can't have her clothes on when she's taking those blood baths, now can she?
That's exactly right. I also want to do a science fiction Roger Corman style Barbarella meets I don't know what, where all of the women on this space station are topless, and then they just have these big white or clear like fishbowl,
Yes,
helmets to breathe the
yes.
oxygen.
Finally, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Um, which because it's so campy could easily be done for not much money and like
Well,
using real people.
I don't even think that's campy. I just, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the best of European,
Yes.
um, like Heavy Metal Magazine in America was R rated for young adults, 17 to 19, 20, whatever. In Europe, it started in France. That was for teenagers, like young
Right.
adults, like
Right.
12-year olds. And I'm from Quebec, so I'm technically French.
Yeah.
And one of the things I never got into was comic books from America because they seem so flat and boring to me. Like, oh my God, Superman is going to go punch that guy out. It's just boring.
Mhm.
And the comic books from France and Belgium and stuff like that were so ahead of their time and so, strong. To me, Heavy Metal Magazine is the kind of stuff I was reading when I was 11 or 10. Like, and I never, like obviously I'm a dude and I see boobs and I'm happy about them, but I mean, like, I never was reading them and just going like that, like that. It's just, it to me was like, okay, this is the kind of story we're telling. This is the atmosphere. This is just cool.
Right.
And I never thought, oh my God, look at this objectified woman. I always thought, oh, cool, she's joining in the fun. She's having fun too. Cool.
Right.
So yeah, and I miss movies like that. Like there used to be movies that were a little bit more like that.
Hmm.
In the 80s, there's one movie called Hard Ticket to Hawaii, made by Andy Sidaris, I think. It's from 1989, 1990, and it stars a bunch of Playboy playmates. And obviously, they're topless all the time. And
Right.
I watched this movie fully expecting to just laugh at it and just think, oh, these terrible actresses, they should have stayed in the magazine and all that. And I watched it, and all the actresses were great. They were actually good actresses. The guys who were in the movie that were hired to be like the action guys, they were terrible. They were the worst
Hmm.
ones. And but the movie's really good and it's full of action, and also all of the girls, all of the Playboy playmates get to join in and be action heroes too, and it's just this great movie. And to me, that's, I think, what you want to do as well. And to me, that's what fun is. That's what a fun movie is.
Yes. Well, totally,
With
and totally, and I think every demographic is a demographic,
Yeah,
right? And I've often thought the only way to sustain a film career, not unlike Roger Corman or Lloyd Kaufman
right,
or any of these people, is to know who you're making the movie for,
right,
and you can make a movie. It's like the gay sex movie that I made in Venice is
right.
there's two target markets, straight women and gay men. It's very, very small. Straight women is a big
Well,
category, but
I
you
haven't
just
seen that
make
one,
the.
but I know it's going to be beautiful, so I should watch it.
Well, I'm excited to share that with you. And in fact, I'm going to send you the Vimeo because I don't. No, you can in Canada. You can see it in Canada.
Oh, sure.
It's in
I'm
North
sure. If
America.
not, I can always try to get a VPN and just and do it that way.
Well, no, you can see it, but I'm excited for you to see that because there are things I do in that um, which have never been done in film before.
Good.
And do you want me to tell you what they are? No, or I'll just wait till
No.
afterward.
Well, then tell
Okay.
me one. Tell me one.
Oh, I don't know. It's one of the best ones because
Oh,
it comes out of nowhere, and it's like you go through the experience before you realize that that
okay.
had
Well,
just
I
happened.
won't surprise me then. Fine.
But when I was doing it, people said you can't do that. Not be, it's never been done. People will think there's a mistake. You can't, blah 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 blah. And I did it anyway, and it's the most effective tool. Like I feel like that movie was the first time in my career that I really knew how to use the tool. And then after learning how to use the tool, I was like, well, let's play around with AI. Like, let's just do some other things.
Well, like I said, AI is, I think, also, look, I made videos. They're not, I don't think they're very particularly good, but I did learn some lessons in making them. I have, throughout my life, tried to write books. I think I have a process to write them. I think my process kind of sucks at times, but other times it can lead to good things. It's just, I'm having fun writing. I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, the whole point of it is for myself to have fun doing it. And so I was doing these videos and I discovered that you can do art with AI by simply doing two things. One is sort of giving vague instructions to it so that it comes up with really weird interpretations of what you want. It's
Mm-hmm.
like getting an actor who's kind of insane and you know that they're insane, but you
Uh-huh.
hire them anyway because you're like, I want to see what this asshole does on my set, you know?
Yeah.
And so I would watch the AI just completely be baffled by what I was trying to tell it. Because again, AI, the way you're supposed to do, like, for example, if you want the scene to be a person is sitting on the couch, sees a light outside, gets up, walks to the window, opens it, outside is standing someone. Someone is standing and staring at them through the window. Simple scene, but you can't say there's a light outside, the person gets, you have to do it in absolute order of the scene. If you screw it up, but I wouldn't do that. I just kind of vaguely tell it to just give me a scene that kind of resembles this, see what happens. And more than once it came up with stuff that was so bonkers that
Yeah.
I was like, this is almost brilliant. This is like
Mm-hmm.
watching digital nightmares. Like it's like,
Yes.
yeah. And also Grok has an extend function, right? What you do is
Mm-hmm.
you generate 10 seconds and then you can extend that 10 by another 10 seconds. And you're supposed to tell the AI what you want to happen next, but you can leave it blank. So I would,
Oh, interesting.
and I would generate it twice. You could do up to 30 seconds and it's like a dream.
Yeah.
It's exactly like a dream because it doesn't know what you want. So it's like when you leave the camera running and you don't tell the actor, just keep going. And the actor is like, well, I finished my scene, but yeah, but just keep going. Let's see what you do. And it's the same thing. It's somewhat meandering, but it's so dreamlike because
Yeah.
the AI is trying to please you. It's trying to find a way that will, and also if you set up the mood in that first 10 seconds, it has to follow that mood. So if you say something like nightmare atmosphere, thunder and lightning in the air, but no rain, you know,
Mm-hmm.
clouds that look like skulls overhead,
Mm.
stuff like that. Just something, you get a feeling, trees, like skeletal hands reaching out from the ground, like it's something that will evoke atmosphere. Then it kind of goes full on dream, and it's just farting out stuff, and it's amazing. It's usually really interesting to watch it sort of do that, and it's so similar to a human dream
Yeah.
because I tend to be very a lucid dreamer and to kind of remember my dreams fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you from experience that resembles a human dream, like an actual human dream. it has that kind of feel of it where it just goes fades into one thing to another, and it's and even the stuff that comes out of nowhere feels very dreamlike. So to me, that's the fun part. But the thing is, when you do that, even though you might not be able to use that video, it's giving you an idea for the next video.
That's right.
So you're giving yourself ideas with your failures, because that's the one thing I tell people. The important part of art is to do it.
Right.
If you don't play the guitar, you'll never write a song.
That's right.
Don't know how to play the guitar, so do half the punks that were doing music in the 80s. Just grab a guitar. That's it. You can do a power chord. Anybody can. Play around, mess up, make yourself look stupid. That's another thing too. Art is silly. True art, true like heartfelt art is going to look stupid to somebody. Somebody's going to laugh.
Right.
You can't,
totally.
can't control that. And so many people, they just want to be successful first, and that's never going to happen. Just go with it. Just have fun. Do the stuff. Eventually, you'll break through if you do it enough. If you keep hammering at the rock, you'll make a statue.
Right. And who knows? It doesn't matter what it looks like. We've seen, I mean, when I was talking to Alan at Film Threat about BRAINSTARE, and he was talking about the performances in BRAINSTARE sometimes being too wooden. I'm like, Alan, I have directed real people that are worse.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's like it's impossible.
I've reviewed enough bad movies to
it's like there are really bad actors out there, and if now the actors who are really good aren't going to disappear. AI is not replacing them, but I think they should worry if they're not very good. Actors who really just aren't very good. I think I would much rather direct an AI that's mediocre than an actor that's terrible.
But you know what? It doesn't matter if an actor is good or bad, as long as they're memorable.
Well, that's true.
I think that's more important.
No, that's true too.
Because one of the reviews I did for a bad movie, right? I mentioned, if you want to be an actor, the number one thing you need to do, remember your lines, speak in a clear voice, and try to be interesting. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you're interesting. Be interesting. It's the worst thing you can do is just be bland. Just go out there. It's fine. You'll be fine. Because there's a movie, I think you should watch it. If you can't find it, I will give you a copy, because if you've never seen this movie, you have to watch it. As a filmmaker, it is required viewing. I'm telling you. It's called Things by Barry J. Gillis, Canadian filmmaker. He would make an amazing interview, by the way. You can find him on Facebook.
Okay.
Barry J. Gillis made Things in 1989. Him and a bunch of his friends. They made this movie for almost nothing. And it is the most baffling film you have ever seen. It's considered one of the worst movies ever made. Ever.
All right.
And I understand why. If you watch this movie ever in your life, you're going to watch this movie and think to yourself, why the fuck did they do this? Why did they do that? Why did they do it this way? And it's just bizarre. It's everything in this movie seems wrong. But then there's little moments of, I won't call it brilliance, but accidental. Like you watch it in this fascinated horror, like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? Like it's supposed to be a horror movie like Evil Dead or something. A bunch of friends go to a cabin in the woods, screwed up things happen, lots of gore and blood, but it is so bizarrely done. The dialogue is surreal. It's more surreal than a David Lynch movie. It's more surreal than an Alejandro Jodorowsky movie, but accidentally surreal. Like
I love shit like that.
Oh, it is. It's a revelation. I swear to you, you watch this movie, you won't be the same person at the end of the movie that you were at the beginning.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll see if I can see it here. There, down the street from where I live here in Barcelona, is a brilliant show right now on Jean-Luc Godard. Okay. And there are a lot of his movies I haven't seen. So do you remember the one, I don't even know which one it is, but I have to watch it, where the car is passing all of the stopped cars and there's honking and honking and honking. And this goes on for like 10 minutes. And the guy's just like trying to pass all of these stopped cars. And finally, and it's one take of this car going down the street. And
Right.
it comes to the end, and the camera comes back, and there's these dead bodies bleeding in the street. There's been a terrible car accident, and the camera comes back, and then the car just goes by, and it's stunning. I mean, it's the most stunning thing. I'm like, oh my God, I have to see this movie. But it's also, it has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, but I like that.
Me too.
I like random weird shit. There's another movie called The Greasy Strangler. If you've never seen that, that
Okay.
one's more purposefully bad. It's more like the director decided I have a bunch of bad ideas and
Uh-huh.
I want to purge myself of them by making a movie about them. And the main actor, I think he's called Michael St. Michaels, who plays the Greasy Strangler, is brilliant. He's this guy who made movies in the 80s and 90s, and he was a hairdresser to John Travolta. Like he's not even really that professional of an actor, but he was in this movie and he's brilliant. He's brilliant. It's the role of a lifetime, you know. And again, it's a movie made by people who just do not give a shit if they're pleasing you. They're doing stuff because it feels right in that moment.
Yes.
And it's surreal and it's dreamlike and it's weird. And it's just, to me, it was perfect. It was a perfect movie. You know, I, it's the kind of movie that I think you could have made or that you have in a similar type of movie you have in you easily.
Sure.
Um, but that's the kind of stuff I like. I like surreal, strange things. So of course I like AI because AI hallucinates and daydreams constantly, especially when you're trying to do serious work.
Well, and it's fascinating. So um, I'm going to have to make the bloopers thing because there were other things where when it would inexplicably create an appendage or, I mean, I don't know, some random hallucination of
Right.
something on its own, right? Like I didn't tell it to. I'm like, how could it get there? You know, like it's so fascinating to me. Um,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Well,
just
I made a video yesterday or the day before, and it was a simple video. Girl walks down the hallway in her house. Simple. An alien puppet, a puppet alien, like in Communion, but it's a puppet, falls down from the sky on strings and starts to do stuff in front of her. Okay, simple enough. Should happen. AI could not do this. AI would
no.
not do it at all. It has problems with people walking either towards the camera or away, especially away from the camera if their backs are turned, because it always assumes you want to see their face. I'm like, I don't
Right.
want to see their face. I want to see their backs. But doesn't do that. So anyway, the way the scene happens, and finally I did the scene. It was oh yeah, it was in an alien spaceship as well. So the scene is in an alien spaceship. It's not just in the hallway. The girl is walking towards the camera, and instead of falling from the sky, the alien puppet comes from the ground up on one string, not several. Okay. And so I pressed extend. And what it did was the girl goes in the back of the alien and unzips it like it's a suit. I didn't
Oh,
tell it to do
interesting.
that. She
Interesting.
reaches in the suit after, because I extended further. She reaches in the suit. I did not tell it to do that. And as she reaches in, the alien kind of comes out of the suit, starts screaming, and goes up to the sky. And I
Crazy.
watched this and I was like, that is fucking amazing. A horror movie director couldn't have thought that shit up. And this is all accidental. This is all like
Right.
just code that went haywire. And I think there's really great moments like that to be found if you play around with it enough.
Yes, but the thing is, you're a brilliant writer, right? You've got to have the gift on either side of it to know what it is you're seeing. Because it's like, yes, you and I could turn that into a really great movie, but you have to know what it is that you're seeing. I mean, I don't know how to explain it
Yeah,
any other way.
you have to. The thing is, it's not about what you create; it's about what you edit out of what you
Yes,
create.
yes, that's right.
you have to you have to find a gold nugget in the shit. You know,
That's
you
right.
can produce a lot of crap, but if you can't find that gold nugget in the middle of it, that's the thing with bad filmmakers. They seem to do lots of crap, but they never really find a nugget. And if they do, they completely ignore it and they go towards something else.
Yeah,
You
but I
know,
mean, I've directed. I mean, I remember. I'm not going to mention which movie, and I'm not going to mention which character or person, the actor, showed up and was terrible.
right,
Like, was just I was like, oh shit, and it was like the first day of filming this movie,
right.
and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, it was just so bad. And then, flash forward to editing, and for whatever reason, stole the scene.
Right.
Like it was brilliant in the
Well, that's what
editing
I
room.
mean. That's what I mean. I've never felt that there's such a thing as bad acting as long as it's memorable. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's tons of movies that I've seen. Like there was one, what was it called? Not Hobgoblins or anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was with the same guy who played Grizzly Adams in the '80s. This guy was like, in the dumps. He didn't have any money, and he was starring in these movies. And he looks like the most depressed, disinterested person in the movie. And he's so funny. It's funny because he's so depressed. Like at one point, he's smoking a carton of cigarettes, and you're like, "That was your pay for the day, wasn't it?" That's what they gave. They just gave you a carton of cigarettes. Anyway, and at one point, he talks to somebody, a scientist, about something, and the guy playing the scientist is not an actor. Even he's not very good, but he just runs into the scene, starts shouting all the dialogue, talks at a million miles an hour, and he made me smile so widely. I just laughed. I was like, "This is perfect. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what
yeah.
this needed. A little pep, you know." So
Totally.
sometimes, yeah,
Go back to you just finished. You're going through it. Tell me,
right.
you're watching BrainStare. What's going on in your mind? What are your sensations? What are you experiencing? And then when it's finished, what happens?
I wrote some notes, of course,
Okay.
and I wrote notes about. Here's the thing. By the way, congratulations on 1 million views. You got
Thank
a
you.
million people to watch an experimental movie.
That's right.
That's an achievement in and of itself. You know,
No,
you
totally.
got 1 million people to understand what experimenting with cinema and art is all about, and that is better than anything ever. That's the greatest achievement in 2026 easily, just because a couple of people have their minds open. Maybe three-quarters of those people watched it once, never again. But I'm saying if 100 people who watched it suddenly decided I want to be an artist because I
That's
saw
right.
this, you know,
Yeah, art doesn't do any good on the shelf.
no, no, you
Yeah.
got to do stuff. You got to go
Yeah.
out there. I like the phrase "plenty of C's in the fish." Was that accidental or on purpose?
Every word written was set as written, and no
Okay, cool.
additional words were added.
Okay, very good. Um, yeah, I liked it. I mean, like, also I love the fact that it's aiming high. Like it's literate and educated as a movie. It doesn't feel like a movie that's talking down to the audience. It uses fancy words that maybe you just understand through context rather than because you know what the words mean. The movie points it out more than a few times.
Yes.
Um, and so like that's the kind of movie that we need smart movies. I'm so tired of superhero movies and Hollywood movies and stuff. Like I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them.
Yeah.
I don't care if they mean well. I'm sick of them. I saw the trailer for Wicked and I just stared at it and went like, why must this exist?
Right.
And it's such an ugly movie. You can tell that they didn't know because they have to light the person
Right.
and the background is not the same lighting as the person, so that it's all flat. It just feels, you know what? Here's one of my complaints about modern films. It feels like two dimensions. Old
Mm.
movies, Roger Corman movies, The Mask of the Red Death, made in 1964, looks more in 3D than modern films like Wicked,
Yeah.
because we use these high def cameras to make the backgrounds and the foregrounds just as clear. There's no blur in it. There's nothing.
Right.
And when you see foreground clear, background blurred, your brain automatically puts space in there.
Yes.
And because modern movies don't do that anymore, everything looks flat and dry and cold, and I just can't do it. I can't watch that anymore. I have a visceral reaction to these movies now. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
Horror
No, I
movies
know what
don't.
you mean.
Yeah, horror movies don't scare me. Action movies don't excite me. Comedies don't make me like. Well, there's no more comedies, but I mean, like, but fantasy movies don't make me dream. It's just, what's the point?
Right.
Um, but yeah, great achievement with Brain Stare. 1 million, and also last week was 750,000, I think. So you got
Yeah.
250,000 people in a week to watch it.
Well, and I think I don't know anything about the YouTube algorithm,
Right.
but now it's like I think more people get it shown to them than it had maybe a week or two before,
Okay.
because it's like more people watch and then it's like somehow it knows to show that, when
Well,
you're just scrolling through.
yeah. Well, as soon as something becomes popular, then the YouTube
Right.
tries to make it more popular, obviously.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch. I think it's definitely something that will educate you. Like I said, it will transform you into to some degree. You'll watch it and it'll make you, you know, people might like it, people might not like it. I don't think that really matters. I think what matters is that it shows you the process of creation using AI, because you can tell every scene, you can tell that there's a creation happening in every scene. You can tell that, if you look at it from perspective of a like an experience, you can tell that I'm watching you trying to figure out how to program the scene so it'll work, like try
Right.
to work around stuff. And I think that's what I liked about it. It feels like that. It's great. And the
Cool.
next movies are going to be better because the technology's improved. So
That's exactly right. I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do the short story, to make the 7-minute short film about the Emerald Digger, was because by the time we finished BrainStare, it had advanced so quickly, and I wanted to use my own language. I love Suglia's writing, and I love that
right,
I don't understand half of it. That it's way
right,
over my head. Um, and I also did find it very uncanny that it's almost like the language of his script is as if AI were talking about itself. The
yeah,
characters who are AI, but it's like
yeah,
some of the dialogue. It was just like, oh, it's like they're talking about themselves. Like it's AI fighting man. It's like brain stare is. I don't know. I mean, it's so multi-layered in that regard. Um,
well, I think AI is really great at recreating dreamlike stuff.
yeah,
So if you ever make another movie, making it a dream is always a really good. It's a good idea because AI is dreaming. That's what it's doing. It's not.
well, right. It's using the tools. There's
Right.
no reason to use AI to make a movie about two people sitting at a table talking,
No, no.
because you could film that easier and it would take less time than
Yeah.
trying to generate it. Like I would say, use it for things you can't afford, things that don't make sense to the physical world, um, and play. Like I'm really curious, as I mentioned, to incorporate it with actual live action, like CGI. Like I'm
Yeah.
curious, like what kinds of
Well, I
those
think the
things.
failures will give you ideas.
Sure.
The weird hallucinations and the failures of AI, like if you play around with it and tell it to do something and it does something completely random, well, that gave you an idea. And it's an experience, just like, because the thing is, on social media, people, when they complain, they go, well, AI has been trained on a bunch of art and all of that stuff. And then it's just copying. I'm like, so are we.
Right.
We're
Exactly.
no different. Technically, we're just a compilation of all the stuff that we have read.
That's right.
I don't write the way I do because I never read James Joyce or William Faulkner or Cormac McCarthy. I write the way I do because I read them.
Right.
Hunter S. Thompson, another guy. Like whenever I write reviews, I'm thinking a little bit like Hunter S. Thompson. because I read him and I know the rhythm and the style of his words, and I embody them, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could do something that's kind of like, I can like, channel them a little bit.
Hmm.
Well, that's what AI does. You just
That's right.
train it on a bunch of stuff that previously existed, and it's, as long as it's not using copyrighted material, as long as it's not grabbing huge parts of what you wrote, it's just using little tiny bits of pieces. I don't see the wrong of it.
No. Well, go ahead.
Well, I do think that there was a missed opportunity. Well, not a missed opportunity. They did it on purpose, but I do think that they should have paid people to use their work. Like if they use one of your movies to put into AI so they'll get a visual sense, well, give you money for it.
Right.
Not necessarily a ton of money, but some money, because the idea, okay, we're going to use your stuff. Here you go. Here's some money, for learning purposes. They could have done that. They could have done that. Like
Sure.
I do believe in paying the artist as often as possible. At the same time, it's already, like I said, Pandora's box has already been opened. What can we do? There's nothing to be done. Uh, right now, though, there's so much stuff in AI. It got so much information, and even if you took stuff that pre-copyright, like pre-1925, I think that's still a massive amount of words and ideas and stuff like that. So
Right.
you could still program it just with that. Um,
Well, and it continues to learn every time we type something into it.
right. Yeah, you
You
have
know,
it. Oh, I did write one thing about it recently, right? And it's what I think AI is now. Like what I talked about, how AI was like the apocalypse and all of that. Well, today I have a different view, and like I said, it's not necessarily a 100% positive view, because I know all the ways it's going to be misused. It's going to be used for surveillance, for
right.
sure. It's going to be used to track your all of your buying preferences and stuff like that, try and sell you things. It's going to be used to make shitty movies by Hollywood because they're lazy and they don't care. Uh, it's going to be used to control movies by studios. Studios right now make the equivalent of 3 movies every time they make one, because the producers and the studios love to control the film and just change stuff just before it's made. But now they'll have full control because AI is going to be making movies.
Right.
But at the same time, I still see a value for artists. Artists will be able to use it, to utilize it to the best of their capabilities. And my thoughts are this: AI is like a mirror without a face, an echo without a voice, and a shadow without a flame. It is a reflection of nothing if it has nothing to reflect. It only exists when we look at it, and it only shows us what's already there. And with that said, there's a form of enlightenment that can be found by gazing into the abyss of yourself. And that's what I think about AI now. I think, yeah, you're talking to yourself when you're talking to AI, but it's
Right.
still learning from that, and you're still learning from that too, because it sometimes clears your thoughts. Your messy, go everywhere ideas are put in a reasonable way, so you can reread what you actually think, and sometimes that can be very enlightening. So there's value there too.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a fascinating thing, and it'll be really interesting to see how it evolves. I mean, I wish, it always did what I wanted it to do, and it just behaved and it took my direction. But that's life.
I actually think it shouldn't. I
No,
think
I
it
know.
should trick you. In fact, if they do ever fix it to make it do exactly what you want, and I think that is the future. Like for example, I'm sure eventually you'll generate a scene, right? And you'll have an option to go into photo mode or video mode. Well, you'll be able to move around the virtual camera in the 3D environment to get the exact shot you want with the exact zoom, exact arbitrary. Like for example, if you do a static shot, you'll be able to do a
Hmm.
tracking shot with the same
Right.
shot. I'm sure that'll happen and it'll be perfect. But if they ever do, I want it to have a randomized mode like it does now, where it will come up with crazy ideas, because I think an artist needs that. An artist needs to fail often, I think, to be able to come up with ideas. Otherwise, you don't come up with the right ideas. I don't know.
No, totally. And when I see something that's unusual or wasn't predicted, or that wasn't instructed, um, I could say, oh, that gives me a whole new idea for something else based on that
Right.
one mistake that then I see as sort of that, diamond in that moment that means something totally different somewhere else. But again, it's like the person holding the brush needs to at least have the capability of noticing that, before just throwing it away.
Oh, like I said, I doubt, like, there's talk about, like, oh my God, there's so many AI books being sold to publishers. I'm like, which publishers are buying these books?
Right.
Which publishers are buying books? Most people can't sell a book, much less sell an AI one. They don't care.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have some people selling some AI garbage on Amazon or whatever, and it'll have zero. It'll be books written by no one, read by no one.
Right.
It will just be
Right.
noise. So, same thing with movies. It's just going to be noise. It'll have to be something like what you did, something with heart and soul and vision, and people will recognize that. Because if you just make a movie where it's just like, what if Luke Skywalker fought like Captain Picard or Captain Kirk? What would that be like? That's not a movie. That's not a
Right.
movie. That's just stupidity, and also against copyright. So that's kind of.
Right.
Anyway, so I'll let you go.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Always, always, and I really, I missed you. I missed talking to you. We talked so long ago, and you're always interesting, and you're always so incredibly goddamn smart. And I love your work. I really do. I have loved your work since I first saw it. It was transformative. It was very early, and the thing that and the writing, the reviewing thing I was doing. And it was one of the great experiences of my life. I met your father. I met Selena Luna, I think, who was in the movie, and it was just the greatest thing. It just made me so happy. It still does. Anytime I'm feeling down, I think about your movies and I start to smile a little bit because it just makes me feel that way. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, kind sir.
Yeah. So we'll catch up. And I hope you make something else because I'm really curious to see what else you're going to do.
Oh, yeah. I've got so many things on the burner. I have no idea. And who knows whether it'll be live action, AI, or a combination of both. We'll find out.
Like I said, whatever you do will be good because you are an artist. And it's the hand behind the brush that matters. You're right. So I'm not worried about that. As soon as I saw that you had made an AI movie, I wasn't worried. I was like, I know this is going to be at least interesting, at the very, very minimum interesting. It will not be boring. It will not be worthless. It will be something worth watching, worth seeing. And I recommend this movie to anybody. Like, if you don't like AI, at least watch this. Maybe it'll change your mind about at least the possibilities of it. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, thank you.
No problem.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
And
we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
And we'll keep in touch.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do this again or whatever. Anyway.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Knox. If this conversation made you think, imagine what 137 minutes inside BRAINSTARE will do. The film is now available and streaming on select digital platforms worldwide. Tune in next time for more Filmmaking Confidential. It is totally free to subscribe, and when you subscribe, you'll get upcoming new episodes automatically, and you'll have free access to all our past shows. The Filmmaking Confidential podcast is a production of Dakanga Audio and produced by myself and Ella Spencer. Our original theme music is composed by Kevin Robles. I'm Steve Balderson. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep making, keep doing, keep going.